Have you ever felt taken for granted? Loved, perhaps, but not truly valued. That subtle feeling that if you were to disappear tomorrow, his life, while sad for a time, would continue without much turbulence. It's a silent pain that many women carry. The fear of not being irreplaceable, of being just a comfortable part of the routine and not the centerpiece of his world. Many women, feeling this distance, make the same mistake. They try harder, they push more, they demand more. They try to fill the space with more presence, more words, more demands, not realizing that often this is exactly what pushes him away. But what if I told you that the secret to becoming the woman he's afraid to lose isn't about doing more for him, but about doing more for yourself? Today, we're not talking about games or manipulation. We're talking about becoming a woman of such high value, of such a magnetic and irreplaceable presence, that the thought of losing you becomes not just a concern, but his greatest fear. The great contrast we need to understand is that of the available woman versus the high-value woman. The available woman, often because she loves too much, places the man at the center of her universe. Her happiness depends on his attention, her mood depends on his actions, her validation comes from his recognition. She is always there, always ready, always waiting. And while this comes from a place of love, to the male psyche, constant availability diminishes the perception of value. It's the law of supply and demand. What is abundant and easy to obtain is rarely seen as a treasure. She becomes the daily bread, essential, but rarely celebrated. In contrast, the high-value woman understands a fundamental secret. Her value is not derived from him, it is generated by her. She is the queen of her own kingdom. She has a life, a passion, a purpose that exists independently of the relationship. She doesn't orbit around him. She is the sun, and he is drawn to her light and her warmth. She doesn't seek validation. She is validation. And it is this independence, this completeness, that makes her absolutely magnetic. The central principle to becoming this woman is this: you must become the queen of your own kingdom. A man might like a commoner, but he is afraid to lose a queen. And what defines a queen? It's not beauty or wealth, but sovereignty over her own life. A queen has a domain. She has responsibilities. She has a passion that moves her. Her relationship with the king is a vital and celebrated part of her kingdom, but it is not the entire kingdom. Many women abdicate their kingdoms when they enter a relationship. They abandon their hobbies, their friends, their dreams, their ambitions to live in service of someone else's kingdom. And over time, they become citizens of a place they do not govern, and they resent the king for it. To become the woman he's afraid to lose, you must rebuild your kingdom, brick by brick. This means having a purpose that sets you on fire. It could be your career, a volunteer project, an art, your spirituality, your journey of self-discovery. Something that is yours, that fills you up, and that makes you proud of yourself, with or without his applause. It also means cultivating your feminine energy, which, as we've discussed before, is about your grace, your mystery, your lightness. It's the energy that doesn't force, but attracts. And finally, it means having standards. A queen doesn't beg for attention. She commands it through her value. She doesn't accept disrespect, not because she fights, but because her own self-worth doesn't allow disrespect to find room to take root. This connects directly to the male psyche in a way few women understand. A man, by nature, is driven by a sense of challenge and conquest. This doesn't mean he wants games, but it does mean he is deeply attracted to value. He doesn't want to conquer a city that has already surrendered before the battle. He wants to be the chosen king to co-reign in a prosperous and vibrant kingdom. When a man sees a woman who has her own world, who is happy and complete in herself, who has passions and a spark in her eyes that doesn't depend on him, two things happen. First, he admires her. His respect for her grows exponentially because he sees her as an equal, a powerful partner, not someone who depends on him to exist. And second, he develops a healthy fear of losing her. Not a toxic fear based on insecurity, but a fear based on deep respect. The fear of losing access to that incredible energy, that light, that partnership. He understands that she doesn't need him, but that she chooses him every single day. And that choice, coming from a complete and sovereign woman, is the greatest validation a man can receive. He's not afraid of losing the woman who needs him for everything. He's afraid of losing the woman who inspires him to be better, to be worthy of being part of her world. Let me tell you a brief story. I knew a couple, let's call them Jessica and Mark. Jessica was completely devoted to Mark. She gave up her dream of painting, spent her weekends waiting for him to decide what to do, and her entire happiness revolved around his mood. At first, Mark loved it, but over time he started to feel suffocated and began to pull away. He took her for granted. Jessica, feeling the distance, became desperate. After a conversation, she made a difficult decision. Instead of focusing on him, she enrolled in an art class, something she hadn't done in years. She started painting again. She started posting her work online, connecting with other artists. She rediscovered a passion that made her feel alive. She was no longer at home waiting for him. She had her own world happening. At first, Mark was confused. Then, he became curious. He saw the spark in her eyes when she talked about her art. He saw her confidence growing. And then he felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Fear. The fear that this incredible woman, full of life and passion, might realize that her life was perhaps more interesting without him. And it was this fear that woke him up. He started asking about her art, planning dates, making an effort to win her back. Jessica didn't play a game. She simply rebuilt her kingdom, and Mark realized that he wanted, more than anything else, to be the king beside that queen. So, to be the woman he's afraid to lose, you must first become a woman you would be afraid to lose yourself. You must build a life that you love, with or without him. This is the key shift. It's not about pulling away from him. It's about drawing closer to yourself. Your completeness is your greatest attractive force. Your happiness, which doesn't depend on him, is what will make him want to be the primary source of your happiness. It's a paradox, but it is the deepest truth about the dynamics of attraction and value in a long-term relationship. Your value isn't in how well you serve him, but in how well you rule your own life. Here is your challenge for this week. It's not about him. It's about you. I want you to reclaim 1 hour of your time, just 1 hour. And in that hour, I want you to do something that is exclusively for your kingdom, not for the family, not for work, not for him, for you. It could be reading a book, walking in nature, working on an old project, learning something new. A deliberate act of investing in yourself. Start rebuilding your kingdom 1 hour at a time. And watch how, as you become more valuable to yourself, you become exponentially more valuable to him. If this message resonated with you, if you are ready to stop being an option and become an irreplaceable priority, share in the comments what the first thing you will do to start rebuilding your kingdom. Your decision can inspire other women to do the same. And if you wish to continue on this journey of becoming a high-value woman, like this video, share it with a friend who needs to hear this, and subscribe to the channel. Together, let's build relationships based not on dependence, but on mutual admiration.